Hello and welcome to the Philippines. I'm going to try to cover a number of topics in this video, and the first one is about immigration. Immigration has made some changes and they've extended their amnesty period, so we'll get into that shortly. But here, this is the office of Cebu Immigration in J Center Mall, Mandawi City, Cebu, the Philippines. And just a brief introduction here. There's a door over here to the right that you come in and you sign in on this office, this desk here, just as you come in. The gentleman there will ask you why you're there, look at your documents, make sure you have all of the items that you need. If you need copies of things, he will send you out to get some copies. If you need immigration pictures, he will send you off to get some pictures. So it's best to have all that stuff up front. And then he will direct you, go over here to one of the receiving windows, hand your items to them. When you first come in, he will also give you a little plastic number. You hold on to that number. You turn it in when you go see the cashier later. You turn your items into the receiving windows here, and you come and sit down or stand if there's no seating available, and you wait. Maybe 15, maybe 25, maybe 40 minutes, whatever it takes, depending upon how busy they are and how much staff they have. And they will call your name. You come back, get your documents. You go take them over here to the cashier. They will show you on a calculator how much you owe. You pay them. You come back and sit down until your name is called again. And you go over here to the releasing window where you sign for your passport, and you should be ready to leave at that time. Many immigration offices are going to they're going to appointment only, and I think they have a limited number of people that are going to handle it each day. And I've had a number of you contact me and tell me that you went to an immigration office and someplace in the Philippines, and they told you to wait for an email from them with an appointment time. So if you've traveled a long ways into a city to go to immigration, they tell you that. You should check in with them, and I'll show you. This is their Facebook page. This is the Cebu District Facebook page. Facebook page. Bureau of Immigration, Cebu District Office. And you can message them, and you go down here, and it says that they typically reply within a few hours. So if you have questions, you can direct it to them. And they have additional information down here. There's a couple. Here's an advisory here. They had a number of people who tested positive when they were given their confirmatory PCR swab test. They resulted in a negative test. There are some issues with false positives around the world, with various, even in the USA, where they use 6 or 10 different types of tests, and each test has a different accuracy rate. I go down here to a notice, very important notice. If you've overstayed, and all aliens whose visa expired on March 17th to May 31st, 2020, are allowed to file their visa application transactions without fine and penalties, provided that said applications are filed from June 1st to July 30th. Now, this originally had been June 30th, so they're giving us an extra month there. And presently, Mandawi City, Lapu-Lapu, and Lapu-Lapu over on Mactan Island, they have an immigration office also. And I believe it's Gaisano Island Mall. And people tell me they get in and out of there fairly quickly. But anyway, if you're in Cebu City and you aren't allowed to, we're in the ECQ, the more strict quarantine, so you're not allowed to cross the border. And I will put a link to a immigration service that I use. I've had many of my Many of you have used his services as well, and I've only heard good reports. He picks up the passport one day, gets it processed, brings it back the next day. Simple as that. You give him the money, he pays for everything. And of course, he has a fee for that. And he provides many other types of services as well. And bounce over here to the U.S. Embassy in the Philippines, and this has some good information for people from many countries, not just from the USA. So about what's going on here in the Philippines, country-specific information. You can plug something in here and search for other countries as well. This isn't exactly up to date, but gives you an idea what's going on. Cebu City returned to enhanced, the more strict quarantine through June, at least through July 15th. And it wouldn't surprise me if it went through all the way through July. We'll just have to wait to see. And Talisay City has gone under GCQ now, I think, which is down here, which is the more lenient, more businesses open. Easier to do a little bit of travel, although they still try to limit you to just essential travel, and these areas as well. GCQ, that can change on a daily basis and is changing on a daily basis. With more cases in some areas, they're locking down certain areas. Very important point here, and it's frustrating even many Filipinos, frustrating the Filipino government and different agencies. Every local government unit, every barangay, which is a village within a city or a village within a province, can set their own rules. So if you're in your own country, counties and burgs, and if every place had their own rules, and a delivery truck, needs to go through your village to make a delivery in the next village, well, they may say, no, you're not allowed through here. You don't have the proper documents. You need a special pass from us before you even come through here. And it's creating some major issues with the delivery of goods. Although most of our grocery stores have food, we don't have shortages of many items. So the only people going hungry are those people without money, without jobs, and no way to buy food. Some governments are passing out rice to some families. Some are doing much better than others. Put it this way, there are a lot of hungry, angry Filipinos in the country at the present time. But anyway, if you're traveling at all, you need to know, if you're traveling through different barangays, which is almost impossible not to, you need to know what their requirements are. And we have military checkpoints. We have PNP, Philippine National Police checkpoints, and then the barangays can have their own checkpoints. And here's a little specific U.S. citizens, including all passport, citizenship, notary, legal capacity to marry services are still suspended for emergency services, including emergency passport, reports of death. I know of 3 or 4 expats who have died here in the Philippines in the last couple of months. If you need to report deaths, please contact the American Citizen Services, and there's an email, there's a phone number. They are not accepting walk-ins. There's an embassy in Manila. We have a consulate in Cebu City, and would be interested to hear the other countries from around the world who are here, what services you have available. A couple of years ago, I did a video about various embassies. I was surprised how many countries have embassies here and consulates here. The IATF, Philippine Interagency Task Force for the Management of Emerging Infectious Diseases, they're kind of in charge in the Philippines with this thing. And anyone in an ECQ area, enhanced community quarantine, is required to wear a face mask once you leave your house. And my opinion, that's going a little overboard. Walking down the street, trying to breathe through one of those masks when there's nobody anywhere near me. Anyway, it's a discussion for another time. think it is good to wear a mask when you're close to people. I appreciate other people wearing masks, especially if they're coughing. There's quite a bit of information about international flights and a number of other things as we go down here that pertain to people from any country, not just the U.S., even though it's a U.S. Embassy website. So you may, even regardless of where you're from, you may be interested in taking a quick look at this anyway, and understand that information is available to you. Travelers, DOH is Department of Health in the Philippines. Travelers may need additional requirements. Probably will. A medical health certificate on quarantine status or fitness to travel. And for instance, in Thailand, I think you need a fitness to travel within 72 hours. Question is, do you do it 72 hours before your flight or 72 hours before your arrival in Thailand or the Philippines or Cambodia, something like that? Each country has their own rules. They have their own interpretation of those rules. So it's important to be aware of that. The DOH Bureau of Quarantine issues this certificate in larger cities, Cebu, Davao. For other areas, travelers should obtain a medical health certificate from city or municipal health office. Some LGUs, local government health offices, require certification letter from the barangay, the village. In some cases, individuals may be asked to submit additional medical documentation, such as a chest x-ray. Gets complicated. Check with your province, city health office for your requirements, and then they even have phone numbers here for the different areas, so that's convenient. International commercial flight options currently exist in the Philippines. U.S. citizens who wish to return to the U.S. should make your arrangements as soon as possible, unless they're prepared to stay abroad indefinite period. The U.S. government does not currently anticipate arranging repatriation flights to the Philippines at this time. They had been for a number of months, but no more. You're pretty much on your own in finding a flight. And I did check flight schedules every day or every other day. There are flights to like LA, JFK, maybe San Francisco, maybe Vancouver. They can provide travel letters to U.S. citizens planning to travel to an airport, which can be presented at checkpoints. That may or may not be required or accepted. And here you can contact the U.S. Embassy by email or phone there. The Manila Airport, as well as the Mactan Cebu Airport, have Facebook pages as well that give out some a little bit of information on flight schedules and cancellations. And Clark International up by Angeles. Flights are gradually resuming service from Clark. Only passengers with valid travel documents, boarding pass, will be allowed to enter the airport. And this is a developing situation, so check with their Facebook page there, Clark International, for the latest updates. The DOT, Department of Tourism, may assist foreign nationals finding difficulty transportation arrangements going to the airport due to community quarantine. I've had a number of people ask me that they live one place, but how do they get to the airport? There's no taxis. Now here in Cebu City, we were in general quarantine, but they bounced us where we had taxis and some more buses. Still did not have jeepneys. But then they bounced us back to the more strict ECQ, enhanced quarantine. And now there are no taxis, no grab cars, no buses for the most part. So there's no transportation. So you would contact the Department of Tourism here in the Philippines. Here are some of the contact numbers in the different regions. Region 7, that's Cebu and Bohol. And they will help you get to where you need to go, hopefully. Rent a car. Entry and exit requirements. Entry and exit requirements. Here again, that can change on a weekly or even daily basis. So just contact the Facebook pages, contact the Department of Tourism. Here's the Department of Foreign Affairs. Announced the temporary suspension of visa issuance effective immediately, March 19th. Deemed all previously issued visas canceled, and foreigners with visas issued by the Philippine Foreign Service posts, primarily 9A temporary visitor and tourist visas, will not be allowed entry into the country. Visas previously issued to foreign spouses and children of the Philippines nationals will remain valid. This temporary suspension has no impact on foreign nationals who are already in the country or holders of visas issued by other government agencies. There again, Department of Tourism. If you need help, if you have questions, contact the Department of Tourism, the embassies, and or your local government. Very important point here. If you've been in the Philippines over 6 months, you're required to get a immigration clearance certificate, an exit clearance, basically. Costs, I think, 500 pesos, which is about 10 US dollars. Temporary visa holders who have stayed in the country for less than 1 year, but have to get this, and you can get them at the international airports. You used to have to go to the immigration office to do that. Bureau of Immigration will temporarily allow foreign nationals with approved and implemented visas who are waiting release of their alien certificate of registration card to depart the country. In lieu of the ACR card waiver order, travelers will need to present the following items at the airport: passport with valid visa as indicated with the implementation stamp, official receipt of the ACR card waiver, application fee, and ECC with returning permit or special resident certificate, whichever is applicable. Hang on to all of your receipts. Departing foreign nationals must retain these documents as they will be required for re-entry into the Philippines under their respective visa. All applications for visa extensions are suspended during the enhanced except for outbound passengers. Of course, we know that immigration is presently open back up in Mandaue, and most of the general quarantine areas are now open, although many by appointment only. Philippine Retirement Authority. That's you're talking basically about your SRRV holders. And I know a couple of you are out there and wanting to get back to the Philippines, and my understanding is that you are one of the cases that are not allowed to come back into the country, which is a little bit strange, but I think that is the rule. Hotel information. There's some information here. List many hotels and resorts still are not open because no travelers, no customers can't afford to be open. Anyway, they do have a list of hotels that are open. Understand that this can change quickly, so contact the hotels. Also, John down, American expat in the Philippines, down on Camiguin Island. His wife had been stuck in the USA for several months during this lockdown, and she had flights a number of times that were canceled to come back, I think. She finally did get back a little over a week ago and took the virus tests and was put up in a hotel. And I think they are being charged over $200 per night to stay in that hotel. No choice in where you go. They put you in a hotel, and that's what they charge you. So keep that in mind. If you're coming in, you will be charged for the facilities that you're staying in, whether it's here or Thailand or Cambodia or wherever, I believe. But anyway, there's a list, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time. You can stop the video and look at those if you want, or go to the website. And there are a few down here, and as we get down to Cebu as well. let's see. Here's the Cebu area. Very few that are, apparently very few that are open. Some rental car information. And Veterans Affairs, VA. I know a number of you use the Veterans Affairs outpatient and the hospital there. I know a friend that goes up there twice a year for checkups. Anyway, they will remain closed for scheduled and walk-in healthcare appointments until July 2nd. So it's past that. So interesting to see if they actually are open. They have made several technological advances, been able to secure remote access to our systems from our medical providers. For our medical provider, with this improvement, VA will begin offering limited telephone appointments for primary care mental health. Mental health will be a big one with all so many of the people locked up for 4 months. Pharmacy updates. Air 21 has resumed service delivery to even more areas in the Philippines over the last 10 days. Nearly all the Philippines is now serviceable. Now, are some of you getting your prescriptions filled and delivered by Air 21 and LBC? Be interesting to hear from you. It says 10-day lead time. So you don't get overnight service of packages here. That's one of the big differences between here and U.S. Many different countries where you get sometimes even same-day delivery. Here you're looking at a number of different ferry companies bringing stuff, and 10-day 10-day lead time. And that's not counting the additional delays if there are weather delays or local government units decide to change their requirements and not let a delivery truck through. And here's some other links, or they're not links, but I think you can go, perhaps they are links. You can go and get information, go to those departments and check out the additional information that is listed there. One other important item here, and a subscriber, Philippine Experience, sent this to me by email, and believe it states, because I had made a statement that on somebody's comment that you need to be traveling with your spouse to be allowed in under the Balikbayan program, the 1-year marriage visa, marriage privilege. And this states down in, if you can read that, down in the lower paragraph, that if you have proof that you're married and not traveling together, that will allow you in as well, during these times at least. There are a number of cases where people are trying to travel and they show up at the airports here in the Philippines, travel domestically, and they don't have the proper medical certificate, travel document, the approval from the destination city that they've said, okay, yes, we will allow you in our city. So they've been turned away at the airport by the different airlines. So it's a tricky situation presently, and you just need to, gets complicated, takes time, but if you're going to travel, now my understanding is if you're a businessman, investor, number of different situations where you might, the requirements might be a little less than if you're traveling for other essential reasons. There again, essential reasons is the key. They're not allowing almost no tourist activity at the present time. They did open up beaches at Boracay, the big famous island, but very few people of the locals in the Western Visayas are going out and using the area. They have been scared, and fear rules here pretty much, and people don't want to go out. They don't want to spend any money. So I think it's going to make for a very, very slow recovery in the coming year. But anyway, stay safe, stay healthy. Any comments, additional information that you have, certainly would welcome those as well. See you next time.